The future isn't waiting for us to catch up. The decisions we make today will shape whether 2050 is a paradise or a disaster. But what if our biggest innovations aren't enough to save us? What if climate change isn't just a problem for governments but a crisis in our daily lives? Sustainability isn't a trend, it's the only way forward. Let's dive into what the world of 2050 could look like, and more importantly, what we can do to choose the best version of it. The world of 2050 will be shaped by forces already in motion today, some accelerating toward a brighter future, others threatening to pull us into crisis. Climate policies, technological breakthroughs, and shifting economic priorities will define the sustainability landscape. Governments, corporations, and individuals alike will grapple with choices that either push us toward a harmonious green world or deepen environmental instability. What happens over the next few decades will determine which future we inherit. But if policy stagnation and vested interests keep clean energy in the shadows, oil and coal may still have a lingering hold, intensifying climate change. Meanwhile, the growth of artificial intelligence and automation could be a double-edged sword, offering solutions for climate monitoring, resource efficiency, and sustainable urban planning, while also raising concerns about energy consumption and technological inequalities. As we step into the heart of 2050's sustainability journey, it becomes clear that two diverging paths lie ahead, one leading to an ecological renaissance, the other to environmental turmoil. In the most optimistic scenario, humanity will have learned from the mistakes of the past and forged a world where sustainability is no longer an afterthought, but an intrinsic part of everyday life. Carbon neutrality will have been achieved in many nations, with global emissions drastically reduced through advanced carbon capture technologies, widespread electrification, and a new era of green infrastructure. Cities will no longer be sprawling concrete jungles but lush, self-sustaining ecosystems filled with vertical farms, green rooftops, and smart grids optimizing energy consumption in real time. Food production will have undergone a radical transformation. Lab-grown meat and precision fermentation will have largely replaced industrial livestock farming, slashing methane emissions while feeding billions sustainably. Agriculture will rely on regenerative practices, restoring soil health and preserving biodiversity. Water scarcity, once a looming crisis, will be managed through desalination breakthroughs, water recycling systems, and atmospheric water harvesters drawing moisture from the air. Transportation will have evolved beyond recognition. Electric and hydrogen-powered vehicles will dominate, and autonomous ride-sharing fleets will reduce congestion. High-speed rail networks and electric aviation will connect cities, slashing emissions from travel. The concept of car ownership might even fade, replaced by efficient shared mobility systems. Perhaps most remarkably, consumer behavior will have shifted. The throwaway culture of the early 21st century will have been replaced by a circular economy where waste is virtually eliminated. Products will be designed for longevity, repairability, and full recyclability. People will live with less, but enjoy more, embracing minimalism not as a sacrifice but as a more fulfilling way of life. It's a world where the economy is no longer in conflict with the planet. Governments and businesses will have aligned profit motives with sustainability, ensuring that green innovation is not just encouraged, but rewarded. Carbon pricing and environmental taxes will have reshaped industries, making polluting practices financially unviable. Corporations will be held accountable, with strict regulations ensuring they contribute to, rather than deplete, the natural world. This vision of 2050 is not utopian. It is within reach, provided we make bold choices today. However, the road to this future is not guaranteed, and there is another darker scenario that could unfold if we fail to act. The alternative vision of 2050 is far less hopeful. If decisive action is not taken, the effects of climate change will have escalated beyond control. Rising global temperatures will have triggered more extreme weather events, from devastating hurricanes to prolonged droughts. Coastal cities will face regular flooding, with some becoming uninhabitable. Entire regions may be abandoned as heat waves push temperatures beyond human endurance. Water scarcity will affect billions, sparking conflicts over dwindling resources. Food security will become a major crisis. Without a shift to sustainable agricultural practices, soil degradation and erratic weather patterns will decimate crop yields. Overfishing and ocean acidification will have caused fisheries to collapse, leaving marine ecosystems in peril. Famine and resource wars will become more common, exacerbating global inequality and forcing massive population displacements. climate refugees will number in the hundreds of millions, straining international relations and humanitarian efforts. Technological advancements, instead of solving these problems, may deepen them if mismanaged. AI and automation could lead to massive job losses in traditional industries without adequate social safety nets. Greenwashing, corporations pretending to be sustainable while continuing harmful practices, could undermine real progress. Governments that fail to regulate emissions and corporate practices may allow profit-driven destruction to continue unchecked. The economic system itself could remain locked in a cycle of short-term growth at the expense of long-term sustainability. If fossil fuel interests continue to wield political influence, meaningful policy change could remain elusive. Supply chain disruptions caused by climate instability could lead to inflation, economic recessions, and global instability. This world is not inevitable, but it is the consequence of inaction. Without bold policy shifts, investment in green technologies, and a cultural transformation in how we consume and produce, the sustainability crisis could spiral into catastrophe. Technology will undoubtedly be a cornerstone of sustainability in 2050, but it cannot function in a vacuum. AI-driven environmental monitoring, advanced energy storage, and breakthroughs in sustainable materials will revolutionize industries, yet without policy backing, these innovations may not reach their full potential. Governments will play a crucial role in setting regulations, enforcing sustainability standards, and incentivizing businesses to adopt green practices. Carbon taxes, subsidies for renewables, and strict emissions limits could reshape industries, making sustainable choices the default rather than the exception. International cooperation will be essential. Climate change does not respect borders, and neither can the solutions. If nations fail to collaborate on policies and technologies, progress will be fragmented and insufficient. Economic systems must also evolve. The current model, which prioritizes endless growth, will need to shift toward a more balanced approach that values environmental and social well-being alongside financial success. Concepts like a circular economy, where resources are continuously reused rather than discarded, will need to become the foundation of economic strategy. Society itself will need to transform. Education will be a powerful tool, shaping the next generation's attitudes toward consumption, conservation, and sustainability. If people grow up understanding the impact of their choices, they will demand and create solutions that align with a sustainable future. The world of 2050 is not yet written. The choices we make today, individually, collectively, and politically, will determine whether we step into a future of abundance and sustainability or one of crisis and struggle. Every decision, from the policies enacted by governments to the products consumers choose to buy, will shape the trajectory of the planet. Hope is not naive, it is necessary. While the threats are real, so too are the opportunities for transformation. Humanity has repeatedly shown resilience and ingenuity in the face of great challenges. If we channel that same spirit into sustainability, 2050 could be a year remembered not for environmental collapse, but for the dawn of a new era, where human progress and planetary health are finally in harmony. The path is still open. The future is still ours to create. The question is, which world will we choose? I'll leave you to discuss in the comments. Do you think we'll achieve a sustainable future, or are we doomed to learn the hard way? You can support us by subscribing if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and I'll catch you soon in another video.